How do we feel happiness, sadness, fear, love, and disgust? If you are interested in this even a little bit, then stick around. What would you feel if you were pushed down to the ground and was about to get stabbed? Fear, right? Let's see what goes on in the brain. Now let's get into how we feel scared. As soon as you recognize fear, your amygdala, a small organ in the middle of your brain, goes to work. It alerts your nervous system, which sets your body's fear response in motion. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are released, therefore your heart rate increases and your attention goes to hyperfocus. It also weakens our immune system and can cause cardiovascular damage, gastrointestinal problems such as ulcers and irritable bowel syndrome, and decreased fertility. It can lead to accelerated aging and even premature death. What is cardiovascular damage? It is a general term for conditions affecting the heart or blood vessels. It's usually associated with a buildup of fatty deposits inside the arteries, atherosclerosis, and an increased risk of blood clots, also known as a thrombus. Fear can impair formation of long-term memories and cause damage to certain parts of the brain, such as the hippocampus. This can make it even more difficult to regulate fear and can leave a person anxious most of the time. To someone in chronic fear, the world looks scary, and their memories confirm that. This was found in the 1980s when MRI scanners became commonly used for research, and it shows that you don't have to be in a fearful situation to feel fear. They saw an effect on the neurocircuiting amygdala that is known to be sensitive to emotional stimuli. So now let's talk about sadness. Let's just say one of your loved ones dies, you feel sadness, right? Guessing that you have emotions. Sadness is a human emotion that all people feel at certain times during their lives. Feeling sad is a natural reaction to situations that cause emotional upset or pain. It is an emotional pain associated with or characterized by feelings of disadvantage, loss, despair, grief, helplessness, disappointment, and sorrow. There are varying degrees of sadness, but like other emotions, sadness is temporary and fades with time. When you feel sad, you release a hormone called cortisol and serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone that affects your mood, appetite, and sleep, along with the emotional baggage it carries. Extreme sadness can cause distinctive physical sensations in the chest, tight muscles, a pounding heart, rapid breathing, and even a churning stomach. Some of the physical effects include erratic sleep habits, loss of appetite, constant fatigue, muscle aches, headaches, and back pain. It's easy to dismiss these symptoms as stemming from another condition, but they are often because of depression. Now let's cheer up a bit here. Let's talk about happiness. Christmas? Everyone loves Christmas, or we feel happy when we have gathered with our friends and family. Happiness lowers your risk for cardiovascular disease, lowers your blood pressure, enables better sleep, improves your diet, allows you to maintain a normal body weight through regular exercise, and reduces stress. Now let's talk about disgust. Let's say you let off a smile. It sets off a chemical reaction in your brain which releases certain hormones including dopamine, serotonin. Dopamine increases our feelings of happiness, and serotonin is associated with reduced stress. Since the 1960s, happiness research has been conducted in a wide variety of scientific disciplines, including gerontology, social psychology, and positive psychology, clinical and medical research in it, and happiness economics. Happiness, in the context of mental or emotional states, is positive or pleasant emotions ranging from contentment to intense joy. Other forms include life satisfaction, well-being, subjective well-being, flourishing in eudaimonia. As you walk through a street, it stinks and there's trash all over the place. You felt disgusted. Disgust is one of the 7 universal emotions and arises a feeling of aversion towards something offensive. We can feel disgusted by something we perceive with our physical senses, by the actions or appearances of people, and even by ideas. Emotions form part of the fabric of our minds, and the scientific attempts to map these dimensions onto the underlying substrates date back to the first half of the century. A follow-up study of 2 single cases further showed that rather selective deficits in recognizing fear and disgust, and even disgust alone, are possible in Huntington's disease. We release a hormone called oxytocin, which we will see later. again, which affects the generation and acquisition of disgust based on olfaction and taste. Now for our last emotion, let's do something more positive. Love. Love encompasses a range of strong and positive emotional and mental states, from the most sublime virtue or good habit, the deepest interpersonal affection, to simplest pleasure. An example of this range of meanings is that the love of a mother differs from the love of a spouse, which differs from the love of a food. Most commonly, love refers to a feeling of a strong attraction and emotional attachment. Love is considered to be both positive and negative, with its virtue representing human kindness, compassion, and affection. We also release a hormone called oxytocin, which we talked about earlier. High levels of dopamine and interrelated hormone, norepinephrine, are released during attraction. These chemicals make us giddy, energetic, and euphoric, even leading to decreased appetite and insomnia. Which means you actually can be so in love that you can't eat and can't sleep. So I talked about the 5 main emotions, but take these with a grain of salt and don't use this as mental health advice.